Hi everyone. So I did have a few requests for this before, and then also just recently I started my new Facebook page, and I asked what kind of looks people would want to see, and a lot of people said that they want to see an office look, something that you can wear for, you know, a day at the office, obviously. In this, I'm going to try not to be product specific. I'm going to do this so that pretty much anybody at home can do it. Don't feel like you have to use all the same products that I do. And of course, you're going to tailor it to your own specific skin tone, as well as your needs and what you can do, what you're good at. I'll try to give you some tips and tricks along the way for making up your face for work. So I'm going to start by just applying a little bit of lip balm. So I've already put on my moisturizer, and if you want a complete list of products, I'll list them all down below, but like I said, I'd like to keep it kind of non-product specific. I've put on my moisturizer, which is oil-free, which I do recommend in general because we live in a very warm climate. You could also, if you're very oily skinned, you could go the Milk of Magnesia route. I'm not going to do that today. I am going to be doing a full foundation routine, including Milk of Magnesia, and how I use this under my foundation and make it look good, because it can look a little cakey sometimes, but that's another topic for another video. So that aside, so I'm just going to go ahead and start putting on my foundation, and you could use a brush for this. Today I am going to use my beauty blender. It is a tool that I recommend all people just get and have. It's great for when you're really in a hurry, and it really does put your foundation on really nice and smooth. So I've got my beauty blender here, and it's wet, and I squeezed out the excess. I'm going to apply my foundation in dots. I prefer to do this than to dip the sponge into the foundation. You do want your skin to show. You don't want to have a complete cake mask on. And part of the reason for that is because in most offices they have this horrible fluorescent lighting, and that lighting can just completely wash you out, totally like suck all the color from your face. And it also shows up heavy foundation really, really strongly. Like if you have on very heavy foundation or a lot of powder, it will show up. At this point, you could go ahead and conceal hyperpigmentation. Such a hard word to say. If you have any of it, I will be doing a video on that soon also. I don't have any. I'm kind of lucky in that regard, so I'm going to skip straight to concealer. And I'm just going to use this under my eyes. You do want to hide dark circles because, again, those overhead lights cast shadows as it is, and if you have darkness under your eyes, you're going to look really tired. So I'm going to use my beauty blender to blend that in as well. And again, just because I have keratoconus, I'm going to blend very gently around here. I don't want to get push product into my eyes. That's the only issue with the beauty blender. When you're using it around your eyes, you want to be very careful. And just trust me, don't powder it yet. That is also a really quick road to looking really cakey really fast. Let it sink into your skin, set, and then you can go ahead and powder later. So I'm going to move on to the eyes. I mean, whatever you're comfortable with. The one thing I will say is to avoid harsh lines, avoid a harsh contour in your crease, because again, especially if you work in those lights, in my opinion, it just doesn't look good. So you want to keep it soft. The way that I do it is to give yourself a wash of a light brown, this is all neutrals, a light brown shadow from all the way from your lash line up to your crease. So first I am going to take just a translucent powder with a fat brush and get it, you can use an eyeshadow for this, I'm just using a translucent face powder, and get it under your eye bones, I always say that, across your brow bones. And now I'm just going to use kind of a neutral brown eyeshadow. So this is going to be glamorous enough that you feel like you're wearing makeup, that you feel feminine at work, but you're not really super overdone. I mean, I'm all for wearing makeup in the workplace, but just depends. If you work in a very conservative company, you might not be able to get away with doing that. So I'm taking it right up into the crease. That creates a little bit of depth, but it's not a hard, sharp line. And then I'm going to blend that line out. You could do this with a brown like I'm doing. You could do it with a slightly shimmery, not shimmery, a satin finish bronze type of color. You could do it with a plum if you feel like you can go a little bit darker. You can do it if you're very fair and blonde. This kind of eye makeup looks wonderful with a gray, like a charcoal gray, medium gray. If you feel like you need a little bit more something going on in the eyes and that matte all the way up one color thing doesn't suit you, you can go back in with kind of like a very slightly shimmery or satin finish taupe colored eyeshadow and just get it across the inner 2/3 of the lid. So that just gives a little bit of an extra sheen to the eye. And now you can do the bottom lashes if you feel comfortable doing them. What you do want to do is if you decide to do the bottom lashes, and it should happen with the top as well, make sure that you're wiggling your brush right up into your eyelashes to fill up those gaps. You do not want to be seeing empty skin between your eyelashes. It looks unfinished. Now, of course, if you are working in a place that allows you to wear a little bit more makeup, that's not going to be really strict on the kind of makeup you're wearing, you could go with a little bit of black. You can skip this part. I'm going to do it just to show you. Using a black eyeliner, I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. Use a black eyeliner. You could line your waterline. Or you could just push it like this. I'll show you. Push it into your eyelashes like that instead of lining your waterline, so that it doesn't look too dramatic. Is stop your eyeliner kind of right there at that point, as opposed to pulling it all the way down into your tear duct. Lining the top I find very important in general. It finishes the eye. So I'm just going to wiggle my brush again into my lashes to blend that together. So one of the best ways to apply your powder is with a big fluffy brush, either like this or like this, something that's dense but still fluffy. Get it into your compact if you're using a compact. I recommend a compact because you don't pick up as much. When you use a loose powder, you tend to pick up a lot. And then just stamp it onto the face. So I'm just using that same fluffy brush that I used before and just setting under my eyes very, very slightly, very lightly. I haven't put a lot of foundation under there anyway, well, concealer. So once you've got your under eye concealer set, you can go ahead and do your eyebrows. Now for this I recommend using a pencil or a powder, depending on if you have eyebrows. If you already have great eyebrows, then just run a little bit of eyebrow gel or clear mascara through them and leave them be, because very harsh eyebrows just does not suit the workplace. It looks a little too couture, a little too dressed up. And again, under those fluorescent lights, they can look really harsh and unnatural. You're just going to be calling all kinds of attention to your face. So what I like to do, because I don't have much eyebrows at all, I do like to give myself some kind of shape. I'm using just a pencil. I personally like to take my eyebrows a couple of shades lighter than my natural hair tone, hair color, I should say. Just don't go darker than your natural hair color, especially if you're blonde or you have lighter hair, because it's going to definitely look unnatural. Just really gently map out the shape. So now I am going to go in with a powder. I'm going to do both. So I'm using, I need to find a brush. So I'm going to use an angled brush. I'm actually using the same color I used on my lids. Of course, you can use any color that you're comfortable with. Make sure that it doesn't have too much of a red tone, unless you're a redhead. If it's too red in tone, it is going to make you, it's going to age you. Last step for eyebrows is taking a spoolie or an eyebrow brush and just brushing through if you need to. And now your eyebrows are done. So then you can look at your face from farther away and see if you need a little bit more definition. And I think I do. I prefer a little bit more definition on the corners of my eyes. So I'm going to take a darker brown, another brush just like this, get it on the tip of the brush, and just work it into the corner. It's really subtle. If you have somewhat deep eyes like mine, like I do have a noticeable enough crease that I don't really need to define it, because again, it can look harsh. If you need to define it a little bit, just be careful, have a gentle hand, and always better to build up than to put too much on and have to take it away. Just gonna soften that line up, and to soften it, I'm not sweeping out because that would make too much of a winged eye. I'm sweeping in. So now one thing you do not want to skip is lashes. You don't really want to wear eyelashes to work. If you're going to wear them, like if you really have none, it makes you feel more confident to wear eyelashes. You can get some really natural looking eyelashes. Get the ones that have the invisible base, the invisible band, so that you don't see them. And then you might want to put on a little bit of eyeliner to hide that band. But I'm going to curl my eyelashes. This step is important, especially if you've got stick straight eyelashes like mine. They need a curl. Of course, if you have very curly eyelashes naturally, you can skip that step. And then I'm going to use mascara. I always use waterproof mascara, but you can use whatever mascara you prefer. I always do my bottom eyelashes as well, even if it's just one small coat. It finishes the eyes off. It also opens the eyes up. And for work, you want to appear nice and wide-eyed and bright and bushy-tailed and ready to tackle anything that the boss throws your way. Something you want to do, especially again if you work under those awful fluorescent lights, is you want to warm your face up. Even if you have a cooler skin tone, you definitely want to create some kind of warmth in your face. You don't necessarily at all really want to contour your face. You just want to warm it up. So I'm going to use a bronzing color and a fluffier brush. Pick it up very lightly on my brush and work it kind of on the perimeter of my face. And just start to warm up the skin. I'm not trying to contour the face. A little tiny bit of contour is good, but that's what will happen with this method. So you could leave it at that, or you could wear blush. And blush is something that I really recommend. I know a lot of women are afraid of blush. They think it's going to make them look strange. It's going to look unnatural, but that's really not the case if you apply the right colors and use the right tools. So I'm going to use this color here. I'm just using a small fluffy brush, dipping it gently, tap it off, and you want to put blush where you would normally flush. So after you go to the gym, you know, or you finish playing with your kids or something, have a look in the mirror and see where you naturally flush. I naturally flush right across here. And you can see how I'm putting it on. I'm not stamping it on. I'm literally just whacking my brush back and forth and hitting my cheek. But very worth it. Don't do this nonsense. Don't smile either. Especially if you're an older lady. When you smile to put your blush on, your cheeks go up. And then you put it where you think it looks great. And then when you stop smiling, it falls. Not a good look. Not cute. Just look dead straight in the mirror and put the blush where you want to see it. Make sure to blend the edges. So that's your blush done. Now for highlight, you want to stay away from, again, chunky glitters, but it is nice to highlight because that does make your skin look very nice and bright. So I recommend using a blush, powder that is not super dense. The best kind of highlight to use is one that would be baked, because baked products are really tightly packed, and using a brush, it's very hard to get up a lot of them. So use the same, I'm using the same brush. I'm just giving myself a tiny little highlight right here. And that just makes you look healthy. And now for lips. So for lips, honestly, in the workplace, it's one of the few areas that you can kind of do whatever you want. You can wear red, you could wear bright pink. The one thing I will say is stay away from overly glossy lips, and also from like lip glosses that have lots of sparkle and glitter in them, because again, it's not professional. I think that once you're over 21, you should stay away from overly sparkly and frosty lipsticks anyway, because those things are for teenagers. I'm going to line my lips. I'm going to just do a neutral-ish lip, but again, you could go for color if you wanted to. A pop of color on the lips is really nice, especially when the rest of the face is so neutral. And as long as you make sure to use your lip balm first, it helps your lips to not dry out when you use a pencil. So the lipstick that I'm going to use is just a peach color. This is matte. I personally prefer matte. Another trick for making your lipstick last is to apply it, blot it, apply it again, blot it again. It will help last a lot longer. The only reason I'm tapping is because this specific lipstick tends to move around any products I have underneath it. And there you have it. So if you want another little pop of color, this is the same lip I did in my last video, guys, just so you know. I'm just putting a glossy finish lipstick on top, which has a little bit more of an orange color to it. So that's pretty much it. It's really basic. It's about keeping it neutral, about making the skin look healthy, warming the skin up so that you don't get completely washed out and look sickly underneath those awful fluorescent lights they have in offices, and making yourself look and feel pretty without going completely over the top. So it's really simple. The basics are to make sure that your skin is healthy in general. Make sure that you moisturize it. Don't skip your moisturizer. Please don't skip taking your makeup off at night. Take it off properly. And I'm going to do another video on skincare because I see too many women taking their makeup off with makeup wipes, and that's so wrong. But anyway, I digress. I really hope this was helpful. Again, soft, natural, and neutral, but still polished and put together. That's the word. That's the motto. You know what I'm trying to say. That's what you want out of your office makeup. So I hope that was helpful. And please, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and comment below. And I'll see you all in the next one.